Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a good evening. Sorry I'm a little bit late. It's 6:04 p.m. on Wednesday. Uh, I am Garrett O'Brien, your host, and I welcome you to Rewired the show. Um, Last night I put a video out on Facebook that's kind of had a little incident yesterday where someone was a little upset because we made a decision to not go and do something, and someone got a little upset about that. And I can't fault them for being upset, but I don't have to deal with the abuse that is coming from a person that's going to be going. And I had to put my foot down. I had to you know remind this other person that I have boundaries that I needed to set. And that's kind of why I'm a little bit late right now, dealing with some stuff. So it leads into taking action. That's what I'm gonna be talking about today. A little scattered right now, so forgive me. It's just a lot kind of going on and whatnot. And internet's kind of intermittent. We're getting some really cold weather, snow and rain and whatnot. And it looks like my live part just dropped, but I'm going to be if I'm gonna check the video afterwards and see if it actually picks back up. But I kind of want to talk about some things regarding taking action. One of those things that I used to sit back on was I would always rely on other things to kind of fall together, fall in place, and not really pursue things that I need to pursue. I'd sit back and I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. It's gonna work out all for itself, and eventually, I'll be where I'm at. Um, the way the internet is right now, I may have to reschedule this one. It's kind of pretty bad. So, uh, if you're sitting here watching right now, just let me know. Is the video screwing up, or is it intermittent? Can you let me know in chat? I'm gonna try typing because I don't know if you can hear me. Ugh. So let's see. Yeah, it's okay. All right, is my video really choppy and intermittent? All right, good deal. All right, well that's good because the internet on here is like I'm just watching my little light here in the corner turn red like the entire time. So all right, I'm gonna continue on. I apologize. I don't have any notes in front of me. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head right now. But in regards to taking action, it's really hard to put your foot forward, especially when you're down in depression and whatnot. Um, you know, Speaking of taking action, what do you guys think of my background? Is that festive enough for y'all? Halloween and all right. But anyways, kind of pushing forward. Like I said, I'm a little scattered today, dealing with some trauma stuff and dealing with some uh, friendship issues and whatnot. And I don't know if both you guys or all you guys are on my Facebook or anything like that, but I put out like a 3 minute video, just basically saying, kind of reiterating what I went over the about 2 weeks ago, about making decisions out of emotion. Um, that's kind of what happened yesterday with one of my friends. I am actually no longer friends with this person, due to their own wishes, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. It's they chose to say the things they said, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I did not put any emotion in that. I'm logically thinking about it, and just, what, I'm not gonna push it. That person is emotionally charged, and that's perfectly fine. And one of the things that kind of leads into what I'm talking about is this, taking action to prevent any further harm or any further abuse on myself. So I decided not to go to a specific event, and because there was this one person that was going to be going there, and I cannot surround myself around that person because of the abuse and stuff like that. So in a way, I was taking action and standing up for my own thing. One of the big things that needs to happen when it comes to taking action is you need to learn to just get out of your own mind, get out of your own head. We tend to talk ourselves out of everything, and I mean everything. I have probably missed so many opportunities because I sat back and I waited for things to happen, things to just unfold, and just let things fall where they lie. Unfortunately, that does not work out too well for you, because you have people waiting on you, you have things waiting on you, and typically those relationships, they fall they fall apart, and they fall through. And it's really difficult because there is a certain aspect to that you sit there and look and you think about it, that it's all your fault, and you put all that blame on you, and you tend to take on a lot more from the other person. And that's when you have to really stand up and put effort forth to get through that, and to pick yourself up, taking action to pick yourself up. The reason why I say that is because our minds are our I really hate that combination of words, but they are our worst enemy. We talk ourselves out of everything. We have these thoughts that build up in our mind that eventually deter us from what it is, whatever we're pursuing. It took me 39 years to finally do headshots and get back into acting. And I've always loved acting. Even when I was little, I was a kid. I was scared to do it because I was afraid of what people thought of me. Wasn't going to get up in front of anybody else. And that was a lot of self-talk that pulled me back from pursuing that. And how to get through that is you have to learn to tell yourself to just shut up. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but it's one of those things that you really need to shut off that part of your mind that says you're going to fail, you're going to fall, it's not going to work, nobody really cares about you, you're not going to get that role, you're not going to make the team, that I'm sure you guys can relate to what I'm saying here. And it's I always talk myself out of everything. Even up until literally about 9-10 months ago. And I really didn't start understanding that until I started, making the conscious decision to push forward, to move through the stuff that I was going through, the trauma that I was going through. And I had to make that conscious choice. Nobody else could make that choice for me. I'm the one who had to make that choice. Because after all, who wants to listen to people telling you, you're doing this wrong, you're messing up, you're doing this? Nobody wants to hear that. So you really need to do an inventory on yourself to find out, what is it that is keeping me down in this rut? What is it that is keeping me down to not pursue, my dream and pursue whatever it is that I want to pursue? Because like I said, self-talk will destroy you. But on the other end of that, self-talk is amazingly helpful. I have one of the things I want to talk about is my affirmations. Affirmations are a great thing to have because you can sit there and read them over and over and over and eventually make yourself believe you are those things on that paper. And you know what the crazy thing is You need to do this when you're in a good mood. The reason why is because this is when all of the good thoughts are starting to come out. All the positive thinking is there. All of the good stuff, about you is on the top of your mind. And I mean, if you're not there, it's still, have people, put out on Facebook, what kind of person do you think I am? What gifts do you think I have? When you see me, what do you think of when you see me, and stuff like that. Prepare to get negative input as well, because there's, when you're putting yourself out there on social media and to the world, you're going to have both positive and negative feedback, and that's perfectly fine. Those people in the negative feedback, you might want to stay away from those people just for a little bit, because they're the people that are, they're focusing on the bad qualities of you. They're not focusing on the good qualities. And this is all part of taking action, to move forward and just pursue the things that you really want to pursue. There's a lot to finally getting to the point of pushing through your trauma, your depression, your issues, your own attitude. And your attitude plays a big role in this as well. Like I said, coming back to the affirmations, I have on my wall, a list of affirmations. If it didn't take me forever to pull it up, I would pull it up and put it on the screen. But affirmations are one of those things that, I don't know, it when you read them over and over and over, you just start to believe it. And, you learn more about yourself while you're doing that as well. It's a very powerful tool. And, I have a list of affirmations in my bathroom that I have on the wall. I see them every morning, every afternoon. I read them when I'm brushing my teeth, both times, 3 times a day. Anytime I go into the bathroom, they're right there, and it's helped me on more than one occasion, on more than a few occasions actually, to pull myself out of depression, to pull myself out of a PTSD moment, because that PTSD, it kind of redefines your identity. Whatever trauma you go through, it will bring fear, it will bring anxiety, it will bring dreams, thoughts, it will bring negative thinking. It will also bring, depending upon your situation, like mine, my PTSD has to do with a lot of survivor's guilt. Why am I still here when the other person's not? And it's really difficult to wrap that around your own mind, especially if you're in your your episode, or you're in the middle of depression, you're in the middle of something bad. It's really hard to identify the positive qualities of who you are, and to pull yourself out of that thinking that I'm the one who should have been gone, not that person. Why that person and not me? It's a natural thought. And don't feel bad whenever you feel that way, because that's a part of your life, that's a part of your past, that's a part of who you are today. And learning to get through something like that, taking action to get through something like that, it takes a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work. It's very hard work to get yourself to the point to where you start wanting to get help and admitting that you have problems. At every friend that I meet, I let them know up front, look, I'm a very transparent person. I want you to know everything about me, so there's no secrets. If you can't handle me talking to you openly like this, then it's probably not a good idea that you hang around me, because being transparent, you identify who you are, and you're confident in who you are. And that's a very important part of getting through your trauma, is being confident in who you are. I've always talked about, pretty much since the beginning, that my identity was in the military. That was my identity for 12 years. And when I was out, I didn't know what to do with myself, because my identity was military. My identity was the soldier. My identity was Staff Sergeant O'Brien. And when I got out, all of that, not necessarily went away, but it wasn't in my present anymore. I woke up the next day. The first couple days of my medical retirement was wonderful. I slept in, and I was like, oh, I'd be a PT right now. Yep, I'm going back to sleep. You know what? I'm sleeping all day. I don't even care. But after about a week, I mean, that whole feeling completely just like broke me down, because I was like, what am I going to do with my life now? And I sat like that for years, 2, 3 years almost. I sat like that. Just, what am I going to do with my life? I'm useless. I'm only this one person. And that, like I said, that's where that self-talk came in. I was talking myself out of pursuing things that I enjoy doing, because I thought of myself as someone who cannot function normally in society. And that's what I mean when I say taking action to pull yourself out of that. You have to identify that yourself. The only way you're going to identify that yourself is if you really sit down and do an inventory about yourself. Take into account everything that you've been through. Take into account all the trauma you've been through and all the emotional, pain and stuff that you've been through, and just sit down and really just hash it out. Pull out a pad of paper, and it may not all come to you in one day. So that's why I say, keep a pad of paper with you at all times, and just, just keep, adding to it and whatnot. Just helping you identify yourself. One of the big things about taking action is that when you go and get counseling, you need to interview the counselor, because after all, the counselor is going to be the one to eventually help you through some of those problems. And if you have a counselor that, you explain your issues and they say, oh, I don't know how to deal with that, but I can learn, that counselor is probably not the best counselor for you. The reason what I'm saying is because if you know no more than that counselor is not going to help you, and you're just going to be continuing in this circle, in this downward spiral of not understanding why things are not working out. So you really, it took me a long time to find a really good counselor. I'm not going to lie. The counselor that was meant for me, in a way. I needed somebody to talk to me and hold me accountable. I needed somebody to look at me straight and say, you're screwing up. This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to fix. And having somebody like that for me, it may not be like that for you. So don't think that you need a counselor to let you know, hey, look, you're screwing up, and you take offense to that and you get even more down. No, like I said, you need to find a counselor that's right for you. Like, my counselor, I absolutely love the fact that I can tell my counselor anything, and he can sit there and tell me back, no, you're screwing up. You need to fix this, and you need to do it this way, or you need to try it a different way, because the way you're doing it is not fixing it. And that's a part of taking action. It's recognizing that you have an issue, recognizing that you have a problem, and you need to focus on a better solution for that problem. So it's taking action is not easy to do. I'm just letting you guys know that right now. And you guys can reach me on my Instagram. You can send me a message. You can reach me on Facebook. Send me a message. Some of you guys have my number directly. You can text me or call me, and I'm the type of person that's gonna tell you straight. If you're screwing up, I'm gonna point out what you're screwing up and how you're screwing up. And this is, I may not give you advice, but I'm gonna point out how you're screwing up and what you're screwing up. I have no qualms with helping you get through whatever it is you're going through, because I've been there myself. And I'm not here, I'm here today because I decided to push forward, to push through the problems, and finally put my past behind me where it belongs. A lot of why we don't take action and a lot of why we don't pursue things is because we look at our past and we don't really focus on the future and the present. remember, your past is the past for a reason. You can't change the past. You can look back, but what's the point of looking back when you have days ahead of you? What's the point of looking back when you're missing the blessings that are right in front of you today? And when I say blessings too, I'm talking about, waking up, the chance to see everything around you, take it in, the possibility of seeing something so beautiful that it brings you to your knees to the point of tears, and you just realize that life is so much bigger than you. It's not easy. You cannot do it alone. I'm not going to lie about that. That's why I always say on my social media, my Instagram and Facebook, I'm always talking about, being transparent with people. That was one of the things that I needed to do to take action to help myself is talk about everything. That I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Talking about it is a good thing to do. Exposing yourself to your trauma is a good thing to do, because you won't get comfortable with everything until you've actually gotten to the point to where you can accept that trauma is in my past. It's not my life today. And it's very powerful to push through that kind of stuff. So I just want you guys to know, I got about 5 minutes left. I just want you guys to know that, pushing through your problems, taking action to get through that kind of stuff, it's very admirable. And I have nothing but respect for anybody that is willing to admit they're the ones that made mistakes. This is what I'm working on. And that's kind of one of the things that I'm doing in my marriage right now, is that I made all these mistakes. That's my past. That's not who I am today. But you know what? I can live to be a better person tomorrow. And, that involves taking a lot of action. That involves taking accountability. That involves putting all your stuff that you had in your past behind you. And like I said, it's a lot easier said than done. It took me years to finally understand that concept. And, I'm not going to lie, I prayed about it. I've talked about it. I've gone to counselors where I thought, they were going to help me, but if anything, they were really hurting me more than helping me, because they weren't really holding me accountable for myself. And that's what you need. You need somebody. You need an accountability partner. You need someone with you or around you that's not afraid to tell you the truth. And the truth is the best thing, because the truth is what helps you get through all of your problems. And I'm kind of excited. Now that all that stuff is done, part of taking action, kind of the result of it, I've actually been starting screenwriting, and we're actually writing a movie right now. We're building a timeline, and we're actually going to be filming this movie in about a year and a half or so, probably November timeframe of next year. Give or take a few months because of, timing and cast and all that stuff. But I mean, it's going to be a pretty decent sized movie. We have, crews lined up. We have people lined up. I'm looking at, doing open casting calls and stuff like that. But this movie is going to be something big. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today had I not gotten through or pushed myself through those things. I wouldn't be acting in movies, if I didn't push through and got through my own trauma. And that's where, you guys really need to ask yourself and take inventory on this. Do you really want to live in the past, or do you really want to live the life that you always dreamed of having? And, like I said, it's not always going to be, flower fields and gold and that stuff. You're going to have bad days, like I had one yesterday. But it's how you get through those bad days will determine on how you react in the future. Because it's just one step at a time. Take one day at a time. Don't give up on yourself. Just remember that if somebody tells you no for something, it's not the end of the world, because there might be somebody else who needs what you have. So just remember, don't if you feel rejected, just remember that it's not the end of the world, because it's the worst thing that something could happen is somebody's going to tell you no. You know what? That's fine. I'm not going to live my life focusing on being told no. I'm not going to live my life, focusing on that one person anymore, because if I do that, my entire life is consumed by those thoughts, those negative thoughts, and the rejection that I was dealing with. So like I said, take action, push through. You guys can do it. I love you guys. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me on Rewire the Show. You guys, you have a safe Halloween, and I love you guys. All right, see ya.